Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, WWE called out for SmackDown controversy.
We got a backstage update on a long-missing AEW star.
An incorrect WWE report is causing chuckles backstage.
And an early Christmas present for WWE talent.
I'm Andy Murray.
I'm Michael Hamflett.
Because Adam Wilborn is still locked in his house.
Banging on his own door.
Shout out to everyone who was asking about that.
Get out soon like the little boy that fell down the well.
He's just stuck there forever now, isn't he? This is the news! Hey! Stuff. Let's talk first of all about, it's not really a huge story or anything, but I wanted to kind of throw this in here because I think a lot of people were being a bit nasty this weekend about this situation, and we should talk about it a little bit. It's also quite a slow news day, I'm not gonna lie. But look, SmackDown on Friday, nice photo of Bob Lashley and the Street Profits here after Lashley, of course, beat Karrion Kross in quite funny fashion. WWE on Fox, the Twitter account, right? And think of the optics of this.
Yeah.
Tagged it Dem Boys while they were celebrating on the ramp. So that, of course, is a phrase that has been associated with the Briscoes for years and years and years and years. And of course, Jay passed away under tragic circumstances this past January. So, if you're a wrestling-minded person, it's best to avoid that phrase unless you're talking about Jay or Mark. It's that simple. Particularly as it was kind of like the weekend anniversary of Final Battle, which of course was Jay's last match for Ring of Honor. So Mark Briscoe quote tweeted this, and I'll just go through the whole thing here, and said, "For real, this is hilarious. At Triple H, whoever runs this Twitter should probably be fired for lack of knowledge, or they need the taste slapped out of their mouth for lack of reverence." A few hours later, Mark then tweeted again, or was it the next day? No, it was just a few hours later actually. So he's obviously been swarmed by replies. Mark replied saying, "Oh yeah, that's why I quit posting on Twitter, lol. Just logged back on. Wow, some of y'all are wild. I just miss my brother, that's all. And I got a little in my feelings when I seen the Fox post. Triple H, you don't gotta fire nobody. Times is tough. Love y'all. Take it easy." Basically, is the gist of it there. So, look, when I saw this, my instinct straight away was, this isn't the WWE account, it's WWE on Fox.
Yeah.
There's every chance that the person who posted this has no idea what wrestling is beyond WWE, right? It'll be somebody who works for Fox, most likely. They probably went around the office and goes, "Hey, who watches this WWE stuff? Who knows social media? Okay, you can run this account." That's probably the case. I don't want to make excuses for anybody, obviously, and I think that, you shouldn't use that term when you're talking about anyone else apart from the Briscoes, particularly, like, we're approaching the anniversary of Jay's death and everything else. Second point to make on this is that don't tell Mark Briscoe how he should feel about things and what he should do when it relates to him and his brother. The guy is clearly still processing what is probably the worst thing that will ever happen to him in his life. And I think he is more than entitled to that first post there. He is more than entitled to that reaction. Look, wrestling fans, I think, have a real trouble when it comes to letting people process grief and letting people process tragic situations. Sort of Amanda Huber for years, the abuse she got on socials for various things, and I assume she still does, because people are just awful on apps and stuff. So look, I'm glad that Mark obviously had a bit of a moment of clarity between his two posts and was like, man, this sucks. But at the same time, leave people alone, particularly when they're in a difficult situation like this. And I kind of wish this whole thing had been avoided.
Is it sort of safe to assume that there was no malice intended on either side?
Yeah, I think so.
But social media is rarely the place where somebody can flag that up and then a situation can just be diffused. Almost never will it go like that before it's already spiraled too far out of control for anybody to get back to, Nobody, I'm with you on both counts, nobody within Fox, I imagine, was thinking, I'll really slight a bunch of wrestling fans and a very famous wrestling tag team that are currently still going through a period of mourning. This tweet, equally Mark Briscoe, like anybody passing any comment, I think, personally, on what Mark Briscoe thinks or says or does regarding a situation like this, simply has no right to offer that comment. But again, social media gives you everyone, as I suppose you can in the comments. If you're going to talk about this story, just be nice and civil with each other.
Yeah, exactly. And I love having Mark around. Obviously, the genesis of his AEW run was complete tragedy. One of the saddest things that's ever happened in my time covering the sport when Jay passed away last January. But Mark's a force for good in this business, and it's been a joy having him around. And just leave people who are processing really difficult stuff alone. please.
Yeah. Should we talk some wrestling instead of some wrestling tragedy?
Let's do it.
Or not, as the case may be, because we have a bit of an update on a long-missing AEW star. It's been a while since you've seen Rebel on television, the associate of Britt Baker and, of course, Jamie Hayter for a while when the three of them were together. And Fightful Select have come through to report that though Rebel is currently open to appear back on television, and there has been talks, the likelihood of a comeback isn't known. Rebel is obviously still very active on social media. She's not become invisible as part of any kind of storyline. She disappeared more when Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter became a babyface act against the Outcasts earlier this summer. Obviously, Jamie Hayter went on to win the world title. Britt Baker was often thought to be jealous of that, and there might have been a turn, but Rebel just wasn't factored in, and I guess nor was the turn while Jamie Hayter recovers from injury. The Fightful report also mentioned that she hasn't been backstage a lot, so I guess they're not bringing it to television. There aren't working plans for her to wrestle, although in the report they do also mention that Rebel has shown an interest in competing for independent promotions in 2024. She has obviously wrestled for Impact and here and there for AEW in the past as well. Like a really popular figure in that kind of cool heel Britt Baker role, but noticeably phased out when she sort of the formal babyface turn of Britt Baker occurred early this year.
Yeah, it's strange as well. She's not involved in the hair and makeup department either anymore, which is what I think she was hired for in like August 2019, and then it became this thing where her and Britt just had this really fun chemistry, and the Reba stuff was like, and the annoying laugh, like it worked really well. I don't really see a good reason to stop using Rebel, to be perfectly honest. I think it could have worked totally fine as a heel. Obviously, as a face, sorry. Obviously, you'd have her lean away from certain tendencies and whatever else. But like, I thought her and Britt were just a fun partnership. I don't get it.
Wrestling is unfair in some respects because there are all these unwritten rules. There's this whole thing where like you've got to get yourself over and get yourself noticed, and then when you do, still times that doesn't result in any kind of push or any kind of profile. I'm with you. I think in the men's division in AEW, if we often hear a name, it's like, well, give that character a breather. The roster's full enough. It's bloated to breaking point. That's not the case in the women's division. Definitely. You could do with more characters, more stories, and Rebel would be welcome. I hope she does get those indie dates she wants in the meantime anyway, because it's good for her to keep her own profile out there regardless of what's going on.
Yeah, for sure. Fun character. Remember those segments that Britt used to do on Dark and Elevation and stuff?
Yeah.
Was it called the dentist chair or something?
Oh, yeah. The one
I can't even remember
Cody
the name.
Came in, had a massive boot off.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah.
Book Rebel.
Yeah, she's fun, man. She's a fun character, and she had a fun little run alongside Britt, and I don't know why you wouldn't use her in that role. Right, let's talk. This is a funny one. This will raise your spirits. Dave Meltzer can't read. No, I'm joking.
That's an exclusive. Get that out there. Aggregate the aggregators. Get that one out there now.
Dave's made a little bit of a mistake aggregating a report, and it's quite funny. Like, you have to take the piss sometimes. I love Dave and all his idiosyncrasies, and it's very... What did I say there? Idiosyncrasies.
Oh, I know what you meant.
Idiosyncrasies.
Dave Meltzer's a warts and all guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He really is. Right, okay, so in the Wrestling Observer last week, Dave wrote that WWE had only sold how many tickets for Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia?
I want to say like 8,000 or something.
7,805, right?
Yeah.
Obviously incorrect. It's a building that holds 61,000. And Sean Ross Sapp did some digging on this. I'll just read you his tweet. I followed up on this, and it caught some chuckles at WWE headquarters. But I got some more info. According to internal live event ticketing reports that some staff have access to, the show is already north of 30,000 tickets sold. They're sending Rhea Ripley and Dom over there to do press in Perth, Australia. That would put it down as one of the biggest shows so far for tickets outside of WrestleMania. I mean, it's probably going to sell out because, they don't go to Australia often, and WWE is a hot ticket at the moment. Now, we should note that since this, Dave has corrected the report in The Observer, so he clearly just made a mistake, right? He's not lying, he's not making stuff up. You get all these kind of silly over-the-top reactions whenever a reporter fumbles. Nah, he's made an error. And do you want to know what that specific error is? This is pretty funny. WrestleTix, here they are, clearing it up a little bit on social media. Happy to clear up some confusion. I think that Dave read the wrong number from my spreadsheet. Brackets available count. I haven't finished an estimate for this show yet, but it far exceeds 7,000 from what I've seen so far. It is true that there is a deal being offered for the show as well. So WrestleTix, the market leader when it comes to ticket sale information in pro wrestling, they have like a big spreadsheet that has like available and sold and all of that. So what's happened here is Dave has probably gone onto that, looked at the available count accidentally and gone, oh wow, they've only sold this, blah, blah, blah. So he's made a bit of an error. This is just funny. This is just funny.
I wish it would have been one of those, you know, those like these Raws and SmackDowns that are just selling out the ass right now.
Yeah.
And then WrestleTix put a tweet up on the day and it says available 68.
Wow.
If you reported that. 68 tickets in Perth. What's going on over there?
This does come from the same man who wrote in an issue of The Observer that Kazuya Shibata had his skull cut open and his brain pulled out. So
it's great, man.
Yeah.
Like the people, again, we kind of bang on about this because we're old at this point, but like The Observer was and presumably is still circulated in like Titan Tower amongst the great and good of the industry. Dave Meltzer is the godfather of all of this with which we inhabit, and everybody makes mistakes.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny when we can own them.
He's also very silly.
Yeah, he's a silly,
he's
silly big guy.
He's
not a silly little guy.
Yeah, he's not a little guy by any stretch of the imagination.
It's good crack.
Look, I just laughed at it. I thought it was funny.
Yeah,
like, I don't care. Like,
raising chuckles is good as well, isn't it?
It is.
Is that Sean Ross Sapp's idea?
Yeah, it is. It is. It's not even had a laugh. It's like,
Hey,
like
Davey.
a clown came in or something.
Speaking of a clown coming in, Triple H is trying to put smiles on faces of the talent, not just of WWE fans, in replacing Vince McMahon after he resigned in disgrace. And one of the ways he wants to do that, according to Fightful Select, is that he wants company personnel, including staff and wrestlers, to spend more time at home with their families over the holidays. To that end, per this report, and I guess per the schedules that many of the wrestlers are posting, this is going to be quite a Christmas for the WWE wrestlers, their crew, the road staff, and the staff themselves over the Christmas period. The schedule features no events between the 19th and 25th of December, and the holiday tour does not start until Boxing Day at the 26th. There's going to be double tapings for SmackDown this coming Friday. There is there's an episode of Raw on Monday night, but Monday falls on a Christmas Day, so they'll be taping ahead of that. We've had in recent years live Raws and SmackDowns over the Christmas period, which is cruel and unusual punishment for wrestlers. And to be honest, despite something that was a massive success in the 80s territory days, not even something that proved a huge draw at the gates for WWE in, I think, like 2017 through to 2019, that sort of thing. So, Triple H, apparently, according to the Fightful Select report, is at the front of this. It's an offering that he wants to put on for the talent. The 26th is the end of the holidays. Back to work, brothers, but that's the life the wrestlers choose, I suppose. This is a positive change, and you can understand why morale is better for it.
Very positive. Various sports have their various festive traditions, right? In the UK, here we have Boxing Day football.
Yeah.
I think there's basketball on Christmas Day in the US. And wrestling obviously never stops, so if it falls on a holiday day for years, it was like, tough luck, pal.
Yeah.
But the thing about wrestling is that it's a work of fiction and you can tape it in advance. So why not just give you, it seemed like a week off or something? It's a nice thing to do in an industry that classifies its performers, the people who work the hardest and bring the money in, as independent contractors, in an industry that weighs the vast majority of terms completely against the talent who are classified as independent contractors. It is nice to see them enjoy the benefits of an employee for bloody once. So this is a really positive change, and I commend Paul Levesque for it.
It's one of the things, isn't it, when wrestlers retire or they go in the Hall of Fame or whatever, they'll always talk about the birthdays, Christmases, bar mitzvahs, graduations that they missed. These huge family events that they become known in the family as never making it. This, you would imagine, this small crumb in the grand scheme of things that needs to happen year on year on year on year is something they'll likely remember. Christmas 2023, I'll never forget those 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
What a time to be alive.
I'm gonna eat turkey and stuff. Right, let's jump over to our X questions. I'm still getting used to, how am I still getting used to this?
Everybody is, man. People still say tweet. People use tweet and post. It's one of the worst and funniest rebrands in corporate history, I think.
It is, because it's such a crap name as well. X. What is this, 2001? You listen to Korn. I was listening to Korn in 2001, but you know.
You should change it to Twitters with a Z.
Nobody has more just like virgin energy. I know he's got kids and stuff, but like.
But can they be proved?
Yeah. well, I'm just asking questions. You seen this? Right, Fanboy has been on. Uber Geek Fanboy on Twitter. Shout out. Tried to get some questions here from not necessarily people who've not sent questions before, but names I didn't recognize as much. So spreading the love a little bit. This is a good one for me and you in particular because we have a bet on about this. With the CM Punk tour of all the brands, the subtle promos, the reports that he's been mending bridges backstage, are we adding any time to predictions on when he kicks off? So for a bit of context for this, we have a bet going in the office. We do the pasty bet gimmick. Where when CM Punk is CM Punk going to make it to WrestleMania, be it through injury or be it through punching someone in the face? I said no. Mike Convert said yes. Yeah. So this is a fun question.
Yeah. Well, to answer that question, CM Punk has signed a 3-year contract. CM Punk will wrestle for WWE for 3 years with not a single bit of bother and trouble. No, look, it'd be daft to assume that things might not hit some bumps in the road. I do think he will make it to the end of this particular road. I know that sounds overly optimistic, but I definitely think he will make it to WrestleMania 40, the showcase of the Immortals, and it will be in that post-WrestleMania funk where I'll be enjoying my free pasty on your behalf. I'm feeling confident now. All the more confident after just a tale of two punks over the weekend where he absolutely melted my screen on SmackDown and then melted my face as I went, oh, with that NXT one. You got a bit of everything from that punker. I think he's all in for a minimum of one Mania payday.
Yeah, it would be a real killer from my standpoint if he made it to Mania and then on Raw he punched.
Yeah, that was it.
Punched Bruce
he got his main event and then he just scorches the earth.
Take this, Bruce. I want him to be around forever because I love him, and his fiction is the most compelling in the entire wrestling industry when it's at its best. So please do not take this as once and gone. No, I love CM Punk.
You just want to pass it.
Yeah, my stance on him has been really, really clear, and I think very balanced throughout the whole saga of the past year and a half. I think that what he did in AEW was wrong, but I also love him and want him on TV. It's not this stupid thing where we're it's not sports teams, it's not tribes, it's just this good and bad in this thing. So I'm actually a bit more confident that he's not making it to Mania after the first couple. I don't believe him. I do not believe these promos. The one on Raw when he came back, I thought he came across like a meek old geezer. The one on SmackDown this week was great. Don't get me wrong, fantastic stuff. And it showed that if he is a meek old geezer who still doesn't really like this place, he can at least do a good job of disguising it. But I don't know. I don't believe him, and I want to see him get stuck into a feud.
Victor Meldrew on CM Punk.
Yeah, I don't believe it. I mean, physically, is certain resemblance there as well. Right, let's move over to our next. So I'm actually sticking with my current time scale. I hope that when he does punch someone in the face, it's funny. Bruce Pritchard would be funny.
He's due.
Imagine Brother Love getting the makeup knocked off of him. Funny. Come on. I'm not advocating violence, but it'd be funny. Some people are going to be pissed. Right, next question comes from Zanzara, who would like to know, good morning. Are we getting Jade Cargill at the Rumble? Her vignettes have stopped lately, and she's not had a face-off with potential rivals in weeks. Yeah, slowed down a bit on the Jade front, but it does come at a time when Triple H is sitting in a press conference and going, AEW didn't teach her a thing. So.
Yeah, I appreciate that, WWE, and we know this from years and years and years and years, and documentaries of William Regal telling people to move forward with the left foot. The WWE have a very specific way of how they want their talent to move and wrestling work and all that sort of thing. And what I didn't get from Jade Cargill's entire run, though I didn't think she was tested enough with different opponents and different match styles, was that she was this ground floor prospect that needed training from scratch. So that was a bit of a surprise. But I think some of that was intentional delaying because the Rumble is a perfect opportunity to debut somebody. You can simultaneously make somebody look like a killer and beat them without them getting pinned. If Jade Cargill comes in, clears the ring, and then has 4 or 5 women that need to eliminate her, but she, on the process, for example, just off the top of my head, was to eliminate a Charlotte Flair, then immediately there is a massive program set up for WrestleMania if you want to go down that route. She could make herself appear like a number one contender, even if she isn't the one pointing at the sign at the end of the show. I love the Rumble as a debut for Jade.
Me too.
It's such a small, you don't even need to do a lot in a Rumble, so moves-wise or movement-wise, if that's what they're concerned about, it's the perfect sort of stage for it to just do some showcase
flex
big spots. Big pump kicks all around and jaded, and then hoist some people out.
Yeah, there you go. I think it's a good idea to. I wonder if maybe they brought her in and, they treated her like the biggest star in the world. The rollout was incredible. All the website stuff, the social media stuff.
They believe her, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Like the images of her training and stuff, and there was like a shaved head guy in the background, and people went, "Oh my God, Triple H!" It was Johnny Moss. Shout out to Johnny Moss. But yeah, I think the Rumble's a really good spot for her. I wonder if WWE maybe brought her in, and when they got her into the Performance Center, they're like, "Okay, maybe you need a little bit more work than we thought between the ropes," which is understandable. Look, we love Jade on the channel. We think she's awesome. We think she has megastar potential. But wrestling-wise, not the greatest in the world, and that's to be expected. She's had something like 50 matches or something.
And most of them squashes too.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's not like she's going 15 minutes every night, brother. It's how it is. That being said, I don't think Jade ever needs to learn how to work like Io Sky to be over. No. She just needs to be able to hold her own against the Io Skys and the Baileys and the Beckys and the elite tier workers. In the division, I think that the Rumble is the perfect spot. To summarise. Final question comes from Red Tooth, and it is with an F there, which is good because it means it circumvents my inability to say TH sounds perfectly, so thank you. There you go, thank you. People say, "Oh, stop doing that." It's not like I have a choice.
Stop doing it.
Yeah, stop doing it, man. It's like...
Get a circular head, Hamlet.
Yeah, fix your head, idiot. Red Tooth, anyway, would like to know, it's funny. If you could choose one wrestler to accidentally be locked in your house with you, who would it be?
You know who I'd go for?
Billy Connolly.
No. I'd go for Adam Cole, right? As long as I'm locked, like the company would be nice, but as long as I'm locked in with, and like my kids have got like the Switch and the PS4, he'd be great at like entertainment value. Like I'm thinking about like the pandemic and trying to keep the kids entertained, being locked in. Like Adam Cole would be gaming with them for hours. They'd think he was brilliant. My wife's kind of in love with him, so like the Hamlet house would be well sort of satisfied across the board. I could talk about the business with him. I could ask him questions about Johnny Gargano and the Takeover New York, and he's one of them wrestlers that would be too nice not to reply. Adam Cole for me.
Yeah, he's getting to shave that beard off a little bit, maybe. It's nice.
Yeah, not injured Adam Cole. Him at home is a guy that looks a bit troubled.
I love it. Malachi Black for me, because in the man's own words, I believe he tweeted it in this terminology. He, like me, is a great consumer of the musics as well as the wrestling. So he has great music taste, and we could just sit there and listen to loud records, and then maybe if we get along, I could join the House of Black. Who the hell knows?
And if whatever lighting he puts on in your background in your living room, then you know who you're fighting next.
There you go. So that's how it is.
He's foreshadowing.
We can match it up. I can learn the ways of the genius. Thank you for joining us on today's Wrestling News. We appreciate you. We love you. We'd love it if you click this link. We're out of here. See you later.
See you later.
Good video.
Click the link.
Nicely done.
Nice, good news, huh?
Turn this bad lad off. Let's get out of here.
Let's get done. How do you get locked inside a room?